So the term never say never in wrestling, it's just not, we can't use it anymore. Welcome back to the channel. My name is King Jay.T, KJT, and it's not 2 a.m. Last video was 2 a.m. We ain't even gotta talk about what time it is in the morning for this one. So within the wrestling sphere, let's take it back to like 2019, 2018 in wrestling. Who would have thought, right? Hypothetically, just throwing it out there. Let's say 2018. Who would have thought Dean Ambrose would join a rival company or promotion? Who would have thought CM Punk would end up going back to WWE? Even in the realm of thought, James Ellsworth becoming WWE World Heavyweight Champion. There's a lot of key moments that have happened over wrestling history in which kind of say, okay, never say never. You can't really say that. Now, for recency bias purposes, we ain't gonna go all the way back, but for recency purposes, there's been many occasions, and one of them being like the CM Punk return, right? CM Punk left WWE, 2014? And then at that point in time, he had a CVV interview. He was just dissing WWE. He was saying, I'm never going back to wrestling. Everybody thought he was very exact with this.
Do you think there's ever a chance we'll see you back in a squared circle?
No.
Never?
No.
Wow.
Never, ever. Never, ever, ever.
Like, firm on the decision. He got fired on his wedding day, something like that. That's when he got his papers. It was donezo pretty much. And then WWE backstage, that was more so Fox, so he wasn't really, in WWE, but he was working with Fox to review WWE. And then AEW reached out, Last Dance, or the First Dance turned into the Last Dance eventually. And then pretty much a year or so later, back in WWE. In a decade span, just took a decade, step away. Even though to me, I personally consider, since WWE Backstage was a WWE show, I get it, you employed by Fox, but it's a WWE show, But that AEW debut that he had, when the crowd went insane, probably the biggest pop, I wouldn't say of all time, but it's definitely up there. That was crazy. But since we're on the topic of CM Punk, going into someone who had a rivalry with CM Punk, The Undertaker. Now, the streak being broken, I still to this day don't agree with it, right? I think that it was a moment that was like, okay, let's put this on the table, right? Brock Lesnar, I understand it. MMA, he became the UFC World Champion. What are we talking about? So I'm not mad that he beat a veteran Undertaker, you know what I'm saying? The streak is something that could have never ended. That's something that is so prominent, because everybody has a streak at WrestleMania. Well, not everybody, but like there's a lot of individuals that have good streaks at WrestleMania, whether it be, they're 5-0, 6-0, that's cool. They have streaks there. The Undertaker streak is legendary. With Vince McMahon being Vince McMahon, you know how that shit went. And now it's one thing that the streak ended, which nobody thought that was gonna happen. Everybody was shocked. You could tell by the emotions on everybody's faces. But to then have him go and lose to Roman Reigns, to have him compete after that, I don't really get that. It's like he had the match with Bray Wyatt, and then every match after the streak ended, it just basically, it never lived up to expectation in terms of, yes, the Undertaker was old, don't get me wrong, but it was just, where was the stake at? The streak wasn't gonna be defeat. It was obviously Roman Reigns beat him. It was pretty stupid. But what was the stakes? You beat the Undertaker at WrestleMania. Okay, you're not the first person to do it. And then going back to the Roman thing, it's crazy because they didn't even capitalize on it. That would have been the perfect moment to turn Roman heel. The perfect moment. Talk about this is your yard now. Let's just capitalize on that.
This is my yard now.
He should be heel. And speaking of heel, why I'm good at intertwining, what I'm saying? Speaking of heel, the John Cena heel turn. Now, I discussed it enough in the previous video when it came to Cody Rhodes becoming a megastar. Go check that video out if you haven't, by the way. But the John Cena heel turn, this pushed it over the map. Like when it comes to the Make-A-Wish Foundation being the all-time leader, when it comes to that on some LeBron, or even just being, proven as a WWE legend. There was nothing left to, do in that sense, just like right off into the sunset. He said nah. And like I said in my previous video, a lot of people said that that's gonna be like, because a lot of people use that excuse like, I'm not gonna watch wrestling until John Cena turns heel, knowing that John Cena wasn't turning heel for 21 years, something like that. But now, now you gotta be a man or a woman of your word. You gotta tune back in. You ain't got no choice now. You gonna stay true to your word. So there's a lot of surprising moments, and you can let me know some more in the comments down below in terms of like what you thought would never happen in wrestling, but it actually ended up happening. And although there's a lot of nevers that turned to be forevers, you see, that's my wordplay right there. I try to chill, that's my wordplay. There's one that will never ever happen, and I think we all know which one that is. So with that being said, it's been a great video. Peace.
Chris!
Baby girl awesome, it ain't capping the slightest. She take oxygen to be like a Midas. When we walk in the room, we the brightest.